In this video, I'm going to be talking about XCloud. XCloud is a service that is provided by Xbox Game Pass. Now, if you have an Android tablet or an Android phone, you are now able to play Xbox Game Pass games on it. They have over 100 titles to start. I've spent 24 hours playing Xbox Game Pass games on this service. I've used my Android tablet, I've used my Android phone, and I've also learned that you need a Bluetooth-based Xbox One controller. There are other devices on the market that you can actually use, but because I have a Samsung Galaxy 7, I cannot use any of those devices. So this is not a review of that. This is quick impressions on titles that I've played. I've tested first-person shooters, I've tested multiplayer games, and your mileage will vary based on your internet connection. So, with that being said, what exactly does XCloud do? Well, XCloud has been in beta for a while now, but due to all the information that we've been receiving about the new consoles in the last week, you may have missed it. It actually went live yesterday for all Xbox Game Pass users. I spent a good majority of the morning testing out various games, and that is what this video is about. I just want to give you a couple quick impressions on where I think the service is going and how well did the service perform. So with that, let's get started. Okay, let's talk about the first thing that you're going to need if you're going to be doing XCloud. You're going to need an Xbox Game Pass account first off. If you don't have one of those, it's very easy to set up, and Microsoft tends to offer a lot of promotions. Like I believe most new users can get a service for $1 a month to start. It's $14.99 for Ultimate after that, which will include Xbox Gold. Okay, so you're going to need an Android device. My apologies to Apple users, unfortunately XCloud is currently not available yet. Microsoft has plans to bring it to the platform, but as of now, there is no service. So, you're going to download the Xbox Game Pass app in your phone. You're going to see that there is a section that says Cloud next to Console. There are over 100 games, so for a service that provides about 150 games, that's quite a substantial amount. You will find great variety there. What you're going to need is you're going to need a Bluetooth-based Xbox One controller. If you do not buy one of the devices or play Minecraft Dungeons touchscreen, this is going to be your best opportunity. All you have to do is use the traditional sync button on the Xbox One controller and sync it to your tablet or phone. They do sell a clip if you have a USB-C phone or tablet. Now, unfortunately, my devices are a little bit older. As I said earlier, I have a Samsung Galaxy 7 and I have a Samsung Tab tablet. These are not the latest and greatest, so therefore, this is my best opportunity. Now, I do have good quality internet that I've just put in recently, and that gave me a pretty good test of how these games would run. For instance, I first started playing The Outer Worlds, Obsidian's role-playing game in the Fallout vein, and I jumped right into the DLC that I had been playing in my free time. On the phone, right away, I noticed distortions and static coming through, and I was getting a Wi-Fi error message. It was telling me that my Wi-Fi was not working the best that it could. So I checked the Wi-Fi, rebooted it, and it started to run a lot better after. That being said, when I moved Outer Worlds to the tablet, Outer Worlds ran butterly smooth. There was no hiccups, there were no issues whatsoever. It seemed to be getting a solid 30 frames without any problems. Now again, you're gonna see if you're used to playing on an Xbox One X, you're probably used to seeing 4K and higher fidelity basically from the audio, especially if you're in the Dolby Atmos camp with headphones. You're not going to get that with the tablet experience. I plugged the same good headphones into the tablet, didn't really get any of that. The difference is though, is you now can play Outer Worlds just like if you were playing it on a Switch. And it probably does run better on the tablet than it does the Switch from what we've seen in testing of the Switch version. Okay, Outer Worlds was a success. On the tablet, on the phone, leaves a little bit left to be desired. Moving on, I wanted to test an indie game that had very little in terms of a lot of install and a lot of graphical processing power. I picked Carrion, a game from Devolver Digital that is about playing basically the creature from inside. It's Really interesting to play it on the phone and notice the differences between that and the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds on the phone had problems going in and out of rooms, and loading screens went on a little bit longer even than you're used to. Carrion had no issues on the phone. I even felt there was a little bit of a sense of lag early in the beginning of playing, and when you would use your certain different powers with the bumper buttons, it seemed to lag just a little bit. But when I went to the tablet, Carrion was perfect. It had no issues whatsoever. It might be the ideal way to play a small game like that. And that's a thing that makes a really good point of the value of Xbox Game Pass with XCloud. Is an indie game like Carrion runs perfectly on the tablet, and it may turn out to be the way that you want to play a game on the go, just as if you were playing on the mobile phone. Carrion and Children of Morta are the type of games that I feel that this is what the service is really going to help. It's going to get people to play smaller games that they usually wouldn't play on the go. The tablet ran perfectly fine with it, and I had no lag issues with the controls. So that's great, Greg, you say. Indie games run perfectly, but I don't want to play indie games. I buy Xbox Game Pass to play Microsoft exclusives. Okay, well that's one of the reasons why the next game I tested was Forza Horizon 4. Now, Forza Horizon 4 was one of the original games when they first went into the private beta for XCloud. And it shows why. Because Forza Horizon 4 has no issues on the phone whatsoever. It has no issues running on the tablet. Forza Horizon 4 will not be hitting 60 frames per second. But it is a very well done version of the game. There are little differences that I find fascinating. As someone who really enjoys the soundtrack to the Forza Horizon games, I was kind of shocked to find out that there's only one radio station. It's radio station or silence, which just seems odd in a Forza game, but I guess it's a copyright issue with the music. I don't really know, so I can't say. But what matters is Forza Horizon 4 runs fantastic on XCloud. This is again a great showcase for the future of what can happen. Think about all of the library that you could put together of your Xbox games. If they could bring in 360 games, original Xbox, and they could make them all run through like a Game Pass XCloud service. The value is immense in being able to play older games and new games on your tablet or phone. Again, this is where Nintendo hit it out of the park with the Switch. They understood that people wanted choice. Sony's tried to do it with the Vita back in the day with remote play, but they just never really committed to the ideal. It was cool you could play Destiny on the toilet if that's what you wanted to do. I'm not saying that's what I did, but I'm just saying if you wanted to do it, it was available. But a great Wi-Fi connection can lead to a lot of fantastic gaming experiences. And XCloud provides that. When you see what they're doing with so many games, you wanted to see where Forza went? Okay, what about a first-person shooter? The Halo Master Chief Collection has been notorious for having a rough launch, shall we say? It took years for them to get that collection together to where the multiplayer worked great and the campaigns didn't have hiccups and glitches. But now, after all those years, it's safe to say that the Halo Master Chief Collection is one of the best values that Microsoft ever put together. When you include Halo Reach and ODST included, it's the complete Halo series without Halo Wars. It's fantastic to actually try and play Halo Master Chief Collection on a tablet. I was blown away how there was zero lag between shooting, movement, and even the Warthog sections of driving. It ran fantastic. Again, I'm repeating myself, I understand, by saying this. On the phone, however, Halo Master Chief Collection continued to crash when I would try to access it. I couldn't get into multiplayer matches on both the tablet and the phone. It crashed on both those. So it's not a perfect experience, but the campaign levels really seem to be okay on the tablet. But on the phone, it left a lot to be desired. Again, I have an older phone, could be my phone. Not saying your mileage may vary again. And that brings me to multiplayer. If there's one thing so far that I've seen the worst experience with XCloud, it's multiplayer. I tried to play World War Z, I tried to play Halo Master Chief Collection, I tried to partner up with people in Forza Horizon. I didn't have much success. World War Z, I was continually kicked back to the menu screen. This was tablet and phone. Halo Master Chief Collection, as I said earlier, it crashed. It would crash back to the menu of Xbox Game Pass's XCloud menu. It would just crash each time. I'd have to go through the beta screen over and over to try and get there. World War Z, I would say I spent probably 35 to 40 minutes trying to get into a match, and each time I was kicked back to the menu. You could say maybe that there's not a demand for that game, but when you make a Left 4 Dead style game that needs 3 other players to play through a level, they just wouldn't give me the AI bots. I just kept trying to get into a match and I couldn't do it. Multiplayer seems to be my big worry here with XCloud right now. It's early, I get it. It's only a day old. But so far, I've had 0 success getting into any multiplayer matches. Right now, XCloud may be only ideal for people who like playing single-player games or indie games. This seems to be where the service is at its strongest. And with these new consoles coming, you can bet Microsoft is going to continue to push this product. Xbox Game Pass has been one of the best values in the history of gaming. It's one of the reasons why I do a show called Player Pass on this channel. I just think that there's so much that you can spotlight. Arcade games seem like they have a great life ahead of them on the mobile XCloud service. My biggest concern though right now will be what happens with multiplayer. Again, it's just a day early. These are just early impressions. This can all change. But what I've seen so far has greatly encouraged me that once again, Xbox Game Pass is delivering on its promise. But hey, that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments if you've tried XCloud yet and what games you would like to see come to XCloud.